Hello, welcome to another Valley Forged, where we're talking about lasers, like we are pretty much every day. If you love lasers, engravers, cutters, whatever, this is definitely the channel for you. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Today, we're talking about all the stuff you need when you get a laser. So if you're thinking about getting a laser, or if you have one, what are the common things that almost every single person needs to do the job? And you might as well just order it when you buy the laser, because you're going to need most of these. Just take a look at them and say, okay, yeah, I'll probably need that. So just start getting it so that when you get your laser, you can just go for it. And obviously something like magnets that I have right here, but I'm going to go over that. Let's just walk outside. I'm going to go over some of the basic ones, and then at the end, I'll have a few more suggestions as well, because you are just not going to get to work without some things. Well, of course, materials. So whatever material you might want to use. And I would highly suggest you buy cheap materials first. You know, you don't want to go working on walnut plywood and Italian leather on your very first go, unless you just have a lot just laying around. But let's look at some of these must-need accessories that most of you know you're gonna need. An X-Acto knife. They just come in such handy for, maybe your laser just barely missed just a tiny little spot, and you can take that out from the back. You use this all the time. Also, maybe sometimes you want to just grab the inside corner just of your material, just to lift it up to make sure that it cut out perfectly before you take it out, so that you can redo it if you need to. X-Acto knife, number one for me. Just absolutely have to have it. And I use this quite a bit too for just different things. A pair of scissors, especially if you're working with leather and cardboard and things like that. I think most people have that. Magnets. I think just almost an absolute must-have when it comes to laser cutting and engraving, just to hold things down. I mean, wow, what a difference, right? You're going, especially when you're working with a diode laser, you are going to have materials that are warped, and you're going to need to put them down on the bed. Now, having a honeycomb bed, of course, really, really helps in this matter, because, it's something that you can connect to. Now, if this was wood below it, these magnets would not be so effective. They would just be big paperweights, right? Now, these are ones I got off of Amazon. I know a lot of people use Amazon, so I'm going to use those. They're not affiliate links or anything. I just, it's where I got them. So the black ones, I think are pretty cool. They're not going to reflect from the laser. Now these are pretty much the same exact magnets, except for in a stick form. What happens is you can pull them apart, right, and use just one layer, and literally the laser head will go right over that just fine, at least with mine, with my LaserMaster 3. Most lasers, the one exception may be the Atom Stack, which I've done videos on, which is why I don't use that one. And then, if you need it to go over, you can use one bar. But then if you need it to, more sticking power, you can add more magnets to the top for the corners. So that's kind of why I like doing it this way. Instead of getting thick magnets and thin magnets, you can just add more magnets if you need to. They're not that expensive, and they're just really, really good to have. A brush, this is just a dollar store brush. I mean, this is all you really need just to brush off the material. This is the first thing I do when it comes out, so that I get rid of most of the dust before I do anything that actually rubs on the material. I usually try and, spray it off with air or blow it or whatever I want to do. So if you have a compressor, well, that's super helpful. I don't happen to have a compressor out here. I've got this little Diwali. And so using air first is probably best, and then brush it off with this. And we might as well talk about the next thing. These things are invaluable. These are Mr. Clean erasers. And they're magic. They're magic erasers, and they really take off the dust from laser engraving so well. Now, I'm super impressed with the LaserMaster 3. I've had way less smoke dust on my materials than I have using other CO2 lasers and even other diode lasers. It's been really nice, actually. You're gonna want wood glue. Almost every woodworker uses this glue because it works. It's real good stuff. Now, there are some times when you can erase it and brush it off and do everything, and you get this little bit, you just can't get it off. So what I do is I have an eraser and then just a little bit of fine sandpaper on the end of a pen. Between these two, a lot of times I can get that stuff off with that. Super glue. I've used quite a bit of different kinds of glues. In fact, my very first video was on comparing different glues. And this is actually way cheaper than super glue or your regular Gorilla super glue type. And it works great. I really like it. It's very pinpoint. When you just really got tiny edges that you need to get to and you don't want to over glue. Really, really like this Aqualim 315. Now this is actually for leather, but it's worked so good for so many things. And I'm very happy with this. I use it for the larger areas that I need to glue. Masking tape so that, you can mask off different areas. Sometimes it will help with not getting burn marks, and other times you want to mask it off so that you can paint certain parts of it and then unmask. It works great. I'm sure you've seen videos on that. If not, let me know. I'll make a video on masking. And then painter's tape. As you can see, I use this all the time. Because this is my temporary solution, I'm always building new things for my laser, I wanted to make sure the laser didn't move. I was really just testing out these pieces of wood underneath on the ends that lifted it up just a little bit. And I'm very happy with that. Didn't want to spend the $100 on these factory legs that they built for this thing. Seemed a little ridiculous. Lens cleaning gear. You definitely want to have lens cleaning gear. Keeping your lens clean on your laser is super important. Some lasers are worse than others when it comes to getting dust on the lens. So check yours and check it with and without air assist and see how it might make a difference. But you are going to want to have that. Laser glasses, of course. These are the factory lenses that came with the Laser Master 3. And they're so great because they fit over glasses. They're super easy to wear. I can wear these all day long without taking them off. And I'm super, super, super happy with them. And so if you could find ones like this that are really big, and these are perfect for a diode laser. In my opinion, when it comes to safety glasses, I don't want to say I'm the expert. And I have, two protections here. A ruler, of course, you're going to want measuring devices, calipers, any kind of things to measure what you're doing. Super important. T-square would be great. Paint, of course, very useful when it comes to making laser stuff. Gloss enamel or something. Man, I have made this mistake so many times. I have made literally thousands and thousands of laser projects with lasers all the way from 150 watts to 5.5 watts. And I have seen so many of them ruined because I just didn't. They were so nice looking. I didn't want to mess them up by putting some sort of gloss finish on them. And sure enough, they did not last that long because they weren't protected. So I do really recommend that you find a way to protect your work. Now, when I make cutting boards or any sort of wood products, I like to use this roasted walnut oil. It just works really well for me. It works nice on leather. Of course, neat's foot oil is a great one to have for leather as well. It works on wood. Obviously, it doesn't work on paper. Don't try it. But those are the basic things that I use when I do laser work. These are go-tos. These are all things that I've probably used in the past day. All right. See, those are the basic suggestions that I would say everybody needs. But what are some other things? I have an old building. And the power is terrible. And I was running into problems. Like I would turn on my laser and it just wouldn't go. Or I'd be in the middle of a job and I'd flip on a switch in my kitchen, and the laser would just shut off, and it just, oh my God, it would piss me off so bad. And it really wasn't the laser's fault. It would just be an interruption of power. And what do you expect a laser to do, right? So I got this Furman power conditioner. It's super great for stereos or, any kind. If you have a stereo or even your TV with the speakers and the music, you're going to want to hook this up anyways. It will probably make it sound a lot cleaner. But for a lot of electronic devices, it's going to be better off to have a power conditioner. And Furman is awesome. So I got this, and it's really helped not interrupt my jobs. Again, this is a super old house. I only have one 3-prong in the entire house, so I have to run it to my laser. Honeycomb bed. Just one thing, I already talked about this a little bit, but you want to get a bigger honeycomb bed than you think you need. So if you get the honeycomb bed that says 400 by 400 and you have a 400 by 400, well, that's to the edge. Well, you're not going to want to cut on the edge. So unfortunately, they don't make them that are just a slight bit bigger so that they're perfect. Like you see, I have a 400, but for me, this 550 is just amazing. It's perfect. And 850, mine actually goes to 850, so it's a little short on the ends, but I'm giving up a little bit on that. But just trust me, if you want to really be able to use the full working area on your laser when you get the honeycomb bed, try and get it a little bit bigger. I just wanted to throw in here that they have this basic wood, the space wood sheets, $26 for 12 sheets. It's really not that bad. It's pretty flat, at least so far for me. And it's a good starting wood to do some practice. Nice and thin for diode lasers. Maybe something you want to try. Fire extinguisher. It's good to have a little fire extinguisher around, of course. When you have air assist, you are far less likely to catch on fire, but it's still possible. Downside of a fire extinguisher is you may destroy your laser using it. So it really would want to be a last result. What I think is a better idea, probably, and my dad was a fireman, so it would be a fire blanket or just a fireproof blanket. Then you could throw it over the whole laser and hopefully put it out. And then you're not dealing with chemicals. You're not dealing with all the other stuff. So have a fire extinguisher just for emergencies, but a fire blanket for putting out that fire would probably be the safest, best thing, at least to start with. I haven't run into a lot of fires when I'm dealing with the diode laser, and what I do see is pretty damn small. But again, air assist is super helpful, and a little blanket there. Calipers, great to have. Other measuring devices, other ways to see how big and to square off corners. Super useful. There are an endless amounts of other things you can buy. In fact, you don't even need calipers, really. Come on. But that's a nice to have. But most of these things are things you are absolutely going to want. And so you might as well get the ones you can. Like the power conditioners, totally not necessary if you have good power in your house, which most people do. But the rest of them are pretty useful. Having your masking tape and having your scissors and just basics. Gonna make things much easier for you when you're doing your lasering. So then you can get off into your specialty things, but I just don't buy everything. I'm giving you this advice. Just don't buy everything you think you might need, because it will be so much money. I've done this several times, so I'm speaking from experience. I bought $800 worth of leatherworking supplies thinking that I was going to do so much leather. I bought a silhouette cameo and a heat press and the, yada, yada, and all the freaking vinyl and it is endless. You start watching these videos on YouTube and they will have you buying so much stuff that you will probably never need. So just relax a little bit. Maybe buy some of these basics because, hey, they're necessary for all sorts of things. And buy the stuff as you go. Get these basics you're going to use for everything. and save your money for the actual supplies that you need to make things. And then over time, you will see, oh, this is really the direction that I want to head in. And then you can start getting more stuff for that. Just my advice after doing this for, 4 years of starting over because of, the situation we had for the past couple of years. It really kind of threw a wrench in my plans, but now I'm back. So I will hopefully, hey, let me know, what am I missing here? I got to be missing something. So let me know in the description, and I will see you in the next one.